Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and this is qualifying ahead of the 2024 Italian Grand Prix at Monza, one of the highlights of the Formula One World Championship, and we are in Milan or just outside Milan for the Italian Grand Prix weekend, and it is a big day in Formula One off track because Mercedes have confirmed the signing of Andrea Kimi Antonelli for 2025 and beyond. And rest assured and get your bets on, this channel is becoming a Andrea Kimi Antonelli fan channel from 2025 onwards. You best believe. I know I said about the Hamilton Ferrari thing. I know I've been banging on about that for a few months, but Andrea Kimi Antonelli thrown in at Mercedes beats that. It beats that. And listen, my support's been floating around for about 2 years. I'm cheering on Piastri, Albon. I've got like a group where, I like Alonso, Albon, Piastri. Lewis has got that nostalgia thing. But from next season, it is Andrea Kimi Antonelli. It's just, it's exactly what I look for in Formula One. It's a young, exciting talent, started to be the next big thing. It's exactly up my tree, mate. He's exactly what I look for when I watch Formula One. So a new, young, exciting, this is it. It's putting every tick in the box for me. Kimi Antonelli. They stuck him in practice. His first lap ever in an official practice session, he goes fastest, and then the second lap he puts it in the wall. I love it. I already love that. I already love that he's pushing that hard straight off the bat that he's in the wall, and it sounds mad. What do you mean? He's crashed like? But it shows he wanted to turn up and be bang, I'm fastest. Bang, I'm here. And I would rather someone push that hard that they stick it in the wall every now and then, rather than be Mr. Anonymous and finish 14th every race, like a few of them on the grid. So that is it. That is the direction that we're going. Listen, the rest of this season, I'm going to be cheering on Albon, Piastri, Alonso, but Alonso's having a bit of an anonymous season with Aston Martin well off the pace. But I'm still going to have my favourites. But next year, I know I'll be keeping an eye on Hamilton at Ferrari. I do back that as a project. I would like to see Lewis get a final chapter of success in his career. But Andrea Kimi Antonelli's the one, mate. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, mate. Expect full Mercedes merch, Antonelli cap next season. Mate, it's already sold. Forget your Oasis tickets. I am on Andrea Kimi Antonelli merch. 1 billion%. But yes, welcome to the stream. Welcome in Lisa, Dougie, Kim, CL2, who are on a Lando thing. Bob Dia. Yes, Vilmar. How we doing, mate? Welcome to the stream as well. But yeah, all Antonelli. I am, mate. I know I might be, jumping on a hype train, but I'm jumping on early. If I jump on the hype train now, right, then by the time he wins the opening race of 2025, I could say, listen, I'm not jumping on the boat now. I was on it in August. So there you go. I'm jumping on it now. And through thick and thin, listen. If Antonelli doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I will support him. This is my statement of intent of my support for this young kid. It's just exciting. And I know he's not British, he's an Italian kid. But I don't really have a rapport. There's something about Lando Norris and George Russell that I don't really. I mean, I know CL2, it's probably hard for you to hear. Obviously a lot of British fans, especially the younger generation, big on Lando Norris or George Russell. Obviously you got the OG fans that like Hamilton, but for me, It just ticks all the boxes. It even looks like Ayrton Senna. He's even going to be running number 12, I think, which is Ayrton Senna's old number. He looks like Senna. He's 18. He's dominated the car in it. He won two two championships. I think he won European F4 and another F4 championship in the same season. Like, this kid's coming on smoke, man. This kid should be the next big superstar of this sport, and I can't wait to see him go toe to toe with Lando and Max and Lewis, and and I this is it. I'm behind it, and this is my guy. Because listen, I've not really had a solid driver to support since Mick Schumacher got dropped. Because if you've been here since I started the channel at the start of 2022, Mick Schumacher was my boy. Mick Schumacher, because of the nostalgia. I grew up when Michael Schumacher was dominating, so I always. Michael Schumacher was always the one when I'm 7, 8, 9 years old. So his son being in Formula One was a big thing for me. I had that nostalgia thing, so I always cheered on Mick. But it's hard to cheer on somebody that doesn't have a seat. So since then, I've sort of been like, oh, well, I like Alex, I like Oscar, I like everything, but I'm going full bias. I don't get. I've been quite neutral for the past 18 months or so. Sort of balanced opinion. You can chuck that out the window, mate. You might as well call this a Antonelli fan channel from 2025. I'm all in. So the vibe's going to be completely different. Next year. But this is what I've been looking for, though, to be honest. The Antonelli signing. I honestly, even though it was sort of like for the last couple of months, it's been near enough that was the direction they were going to go. Especially since Sainz signed up with Williams as well. It's been on the cards, but I never truly believed it. Because it is, at the end of the day, for Mercedes, it's a big gamble to steer. He's only just turned 18 years old. It's his rookie season in F2. To stick this guy in at the deep end off the bat. I mean, George Russell had to do 3 years in a Williams before he got his promotion. They're sticking him in at the deep end off the bat. Mate, I haven't seen a team have bollocks like this since McLaren stuck Lewis Hamilton in. And Lewis Hamilton by then was like 22, 23 years old. So he'd had a bit more experience. And McLaren stuck him in at the deep end, and what happened? Bang! Well, he missed out on the World Championship by 1 point in his rookie year, and then won it the following year. So Lewis swum it. It's sink or swim if you get chucked in at the deep end, and I believe that Antonelli will swim. And I know he stuck it in the wall after 2 laps, but the lap before he crashed was purple sectors, mate. Off the bat, straight in the car. Having no experience, man went fastest. Of course he did. Mate. So, listen, if he turns out to be a flop, then I'll flop with him. Do you know what I mean? I'm there through thick and thin. If he wins the opening race of next season or he's P17, it will not change my trajectory. It's Antonelli next season. But yeah, Italy area. This is it, Ernesto. You've got Juventus. You've got your Juventus connection. I'm Antonelli for 25. But yeah, please do drop a like on the stream as well if you haven't already. Qualifying is about to get underway. Of course, Antonelli not in the car till next March, so probably won't mention him that much between now and next season because he's not jumping in mid-season, so he's still got a few months to wait. So it's as business as you were, be cheering on Piastri, Albon, a couple of the others. But yeah, hopefully we have a good last 9 races. For a championship fight, we do need... Now, Karen Chandler was saying we need a couple of DNFs from Verstappen to make this championship come alive. That I don't agree with that. I think one DNF from Max Verstappen or some kind of issue where he finishes, let's say, outside the top 6. We need at least one of those situations in the last 9 for Lando to be on it, because the gap's still 70 points with 9 to go. It's at this point right now, it's Max Verstappen's championship to lose. But one issue, one mistake, one puncture, one collision, one mechanical gremlin, and it's on big time. But what is certainly on is the Constructors' Championship. Now, I can see a scenario where Red Bull end up finishing third in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are doing a great job. They're getting the absolute maximum out of this car, and I'd be sort of saying Ferrari dark horses for this weekend as well, and looking pretty quick in practice. It is the home race, and they always seem to pull out an extra few tenths at the home race. Ferrari, we've seen some slipstream tactics in the past to help them get pole position. So it wouldn't be a massive shock for Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz to be on pole here today. Hopefully we do see it. So yeah, I feel like both drivers are going to pick up serious points between now and the end. Obviously McLaren as well. And so Red Bull in trouble Constructors' Championship wise. I think McLaren are only 30 points behind now in Constructors' Championship, and Ferrari, 40 or 50 points behind. But yeah, with Red Bull being a one-man team at the moment, they're desperate for Sergio Perez to step up. They have kept him on for the remainder of the season. I don't know what the situation is for 25, but I'm 99% sure they're going to keep Checo in the car for next season. I don't know if that's already been confirmed or not. But yeah, qualifying is underway, and yeah, Red Bull in trouble in the Constructors, and like I say, one mechanical issue or otherwise for Max Verstappen, and the Drivers' Championship is on big time as well this season. So still a lot to look forward to for 2024, but 2025 I'm re-engaging big time. I'm re-engaging big time because the last 2-3 years it's been a little bit. I've been into it, but not as much as I have been in the past, if you get what I mean. I've been into it, but not to a point where I'm like, come on, not like major. But March 25 is a completely different flavour on this channel. A different flavour. And you're gonna see not just the happy side of me, not just the yes, come on, what a great race. You're also gonna see if someone bins him off into the wall. There's gonna be both sides of the spectrum. So let's have it. But yeah, I'm doing well. Hello, Farhan. Welcome to the stream, bro. I need to get the headphones on, listen what's going on in commentary, so I don't miss anything critical. But yeah, I'm doing good, Kim. How are you? How are you, Dougie, as well? How late did the Demcast go last night? Have you got a part 2 in you, lad? Because I'm on it tonight. I couldn't, because I was at work at 6:30 this morning, so I couldn't obviously get on the stream last night. But if you've got a part 2 in you, Dougie, I don't know if Denver has his eyes. I was looking at his stream before Arsenal, and I was looking at him and I was thinking, his battery's running low. I don't know if Denver's got a part 2 in him, but if he has, I'll be there. And if he hasn't, I'll be on my own channel. But yeah, Ferrari off the bat go quickest then. But early days in Q1. If you don't know how qualifying works in Formula One, I do explain this every week, but for new viewers or, football fans that don't really follow this, how qualifying works, it's split into 3 different sections. So it's a knockout situation where it's split into Q1, Q2, and Q3. So Q1 is all 20 cars, and at the end of which, where's the timer there? 13 minutes left. At the end of which, the bottom 5 are the slowest 5 drivers will be knocked out, and then the top 15 go through to Q2. That's a 15-minute session. And at the end of which the slowest 5 drivers, so from 11th to 15th, they'll all be knocked out, and then the top 10 go through to Q3, otherwise known as a pole position shootout, and that will be where pole position is decided. That's a 12-minute session, and that is the top 10 fighting for pole, so we'll get there in about 40-odd minutes. But first of all, it's about getting rid of the slowest 5, and we're already about 5 minutes into Q1. So for the quick guys, for obviously, you Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, the guys in the front, it's just about getting a banker lap in, getting a good enough lap in to get you through to the next session. So you don't have to go balls to the wall if you're in a McLaren or a Mercedes or a Red Bull. You just have to do enough to get through. Whereas for the guys at the back, the likes of the likes of Sauber, Haas, Williams, RB, Aston Martin as well. For them, it can make or break your weekend getting through to Q2. So for them, they are, but better believe it, going absolutely balls to the wall to get through to Q2. So that is how it all works. Yes, JJ, welcome to the stream, bro. Make sure you're in tomorrow as well, because you missed the last round of the Viewers Championship, JJ. And so you need to come back tomorrow. Everyone needs to come back tomorrow. I'll be live about I think the race starts 2 p.m. UK time, so I'll be live about 1:30, maybe 1:45, depending how late the Demcash runs tonight. But yeah, beyond about 1:30, that's the aim. A little bit of a half an hour build up before the Italian Grand Prix at Monza is on the bucket list for me. This one, it is a bucket list race. This. But if you don't go as a Ferrari fan, it might be a little bit, I don't know if dangerous is the right word, but you're probably going a Ferrari kit, put it that way, because it's 99% Ferrari fans at Monza. So if I turn up with an Antonelli, full Antonelli mode, might get a few frowns. You'll miss a start as it's the old... Oh, is it Old Firm, is it? At 12:30. Well, you've got till... I'll be on till about... If the race starts at 2, I'll be on till about 3:30 at least. 3:45, 4:45. So this time, Kim, 2 hour... It's at least a 2 hour stream, innit, a race. So, yeah. You've got from 2:30 till... 1:30 till about 3:30. To get yourself type in a message in chat. So, good luck. Yeah, so early doors in Q1. It's Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, Hülkenberg P4, Albon P5, Magnussen P6. As well, I haven't mentioned that Logan Sargent is no longer a Formula One driver. Williams have got the axe out, and it's game over for Logan Sargent after I think the straw that broke the camel's back was his big smash in Zandvoort last weekend in practice. He smashed, they had brand new upgrades on the car that they've been working all year on. And he smashed it in the wall and set the car on fire. And I think at that point, James Valls had to make the decision and go, we need to get this guy out of the car. Because it's just costing us millions a race. And so I think his downward spiral was so extreme that it was the kindest thing to do at that point, even from a mental health point of view. I think the kindest thing to do with Logan Sargent was to say, listen, it's probably time to step back. And so it is... Franco Colapinto, Argentinian driver from the Williams Academy and 6th in the F2 Championship, who has stepped up with a great deal of sponsorship backing as well. I think 4.5 million in sponsorship backing as well. So that always helps. That always gets you a nod over a guy that's bringing nothing. So Franco Colapinto is making his Grand Prix debut this weekend for Williams. So it is Albon, Colapinto, line up at Williams and for the rest of the season, and then of course it goes to Carlos Sainz that seat. So next year, it's flipping musical chairs at Williams at the moment. Colapinto in for the last 9 races of this season, and then Carlos Sainz. So I don't know what Colapinto's plans are for next year, but if he does a good job, then maybe another team might pick him up. I think there's a couple of seats left unconfirmed on the grid for 2025. So I'd say it's unlikely, but he'll be looking to get his foot in the door and prove that he is the man. But yes, welcome to the stream, Lisa. Sainz has gone purple sector 1 and personal best sector 2. So Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari on a good lap. And like I said before, I wouldn't rule out Ferrari today. I would not rule out Ferrari, even though they've been in kind of no man's land for the last 7 or 8 races. They always seem to pull something out of the bag more often than not at Monza. Even when they've got a midfield car in previous seasons, all of a sudden they'll line up 1-2 on the grid in Monza. You know, so we have seen that in the past. So you can never write Ferrari off at home. So we shall see on that one. But Esteban Ocon crosses the line and goes P10. So Alpine's 9th and 10th at the moment. Norris still quickest on a 1:19.9. It's then the two Ferraris of Leclerc, Sainz and Verstappen. Then the two Mercedes, 5th and 6th. Then Piastri, Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Albon, Magnussen, Stroll and Ricciardo in the bottom 5 at the moment. Then with 6 minutes to go is Colapinto, the debutant, Tsunoda, Bottas, Perez and Zhou. So Sergio Perez needs to get a lap on. Needs to get a lap in. He's got 5.5 minutes to do so. But I have to admit, I don't know a lot about Franco Colapinto. You do know, at the start of every season, March, every single year, I say to myself, right, I'm gonna watch F2 this year. I'm gonna watch F2 this. I probably for at least a decade. Every single time a new Formula One season rolls around, I'm watching F2 this, and I watch the first race, and then I forget about it. And then before you know it, there's been 7 or 8 rounds and I go, oh, I've lost track of F2 again. And yet again, it has been this season. I start off with the intentions of watching Formula 2 every single season. And I start with the intention in March. And by May, I've already lost track of it. And then they have like a sprint race, feature race. And then, you know, I can't always be here. I work a lot of the weekends as well. So I end up, before you know it, I've missed 7 or 8 races. And then I've got this weird OCD where if I miss it, then I'm missing all of it. I've got this weird thing about me where, you know, if I miss a first episode of like a TV show, there's no love, no money could get me watching episode 2. It's over. So once I've missed 2 or 3 races of F2, it's written off till next March. Yeah. And that's just, I don't know. I have a weird thing about it's either all or nothing. All or nothing. So it's been nothing for as long as I can remember. But with F1, it's all, mate. It is all. You haven't made it to bed? What? It's 3:15 in the afternoon. If you haven't made it to bed from last night, that's even more hardcore than Developer. And that's saying something. Denver does look tired today, though. I've seen him on his Arsenal stream. The bags under his eyes could have their own bags. Yeah, looks like he's had about half an hour's sleep. But yeah, here comes Alex Albon across the line then and goes P8. Okay. The female driller. Well, that's what we need, isn't it, Kim? You know, you've been a one-man band. You've been a one-woman band on the Demcast and stuff for years. Yeah. You need a partner in crime. Been awake since 8:30 a.m. yet. How are you still going? So Verstappen is out of the garage and oh, they nearly crash in the pit lane. I don't know if it was Piastri or Norris, but that is an unsafe release if I ever saw one. That's horrendous. I mean, Max had to jump on the brakes then. He probably had both feet on the brake pedal. Like, no, that all jokes aside, that was extremely close from an embarrassing collision in the pit lane then. I don't know if it was Piastri or Norris, but one of the McLarens got launched straight into the path of Verstappen coming down the pit lane, and that is a big no-no. That is a big no-no. You've had about 12 hours sleep since then. I'm somewhere in the middle of that. I've had about 5. So I'm rolling on. I don't know how deep into the evening I'll go myself. But I give it a good shot. Colapinto is on a quick lap. So, right, how are we looking then? A minute and a half to go. The bottom 5 is Ricciardo, Colapinto, Tsunoda, Bottas and Zhou. I'll tell you what, this Sauber. Oh, and it's Colapinto's gone wide, has he, at the second Lesmo? At least I think it is him, yeah. Yeah, he's gone wide into the gravel. I mean, he's kept the car in one piece as the Argentine debutant for Williams, but that has wrecked his lap, and that was a crucial lap as well, and he'll probably be knocked out now in Q1, which is to be expected, but would have been nice for him to survive Q1 and get through to Q2, but with that mistake, albeit not as big as Antonelli's mistake yesterday, what is going on with Magnussen's gone wide at Parabolica? I can't help think there must be an issue with the car, with Kevin Magnussen's Haas. I don't think that's a driver error. I think that's a mechanical issue for the Haas. We'll find out soon enough. But yeah, Magnussen looks like he's in limp home mode in the Haas. He's gone wide at the final corner, crawls into the pits, but who's setting quick lap times then? Who's going to survive Q1? At the bottom at the moment is Ricciardo, Colapinto, Tsunoda, Bottas and Zhou. So that's not changed a hell of a lot. But here comes Daniel Ricciardo then, round the final corner. Can he get through to Q2? He has won this race before, believe it or not. I think in 2021 or 2020, one of the two. But Ricciardo goes P15. And Piastri goes third, which makes it a McLaren 1-3 in Q1. And Verstappen purple middle sector, but has backed off. Yeah, Verstappen playing games out there. Verstappen got the sandbags out. Ooh, you know, he didn't want to show his full hand. Verstappen went rapid sector 1, rapid sector 2, and then put the brakes on before crossing the line, so that he doesn't show his hand. He's already safe anyway. You know, he's already P6, so he's definitely get through to Q2. And he didn't want to smash the timing boards and give away the true pace of the Red Bull. So that's a confident thing to do. And it shows that Verstappen is in the fight this weekend, at least for pole position. Yes, Suede, welcome to the stream, bro. How are we? Who's your bets on this weekend? Who are you supporting for the Italian Grand Prix? Colapinto's out. Zhou's out in Q1. Is anyone on a lap? Bottas is in the pits, so Bottas is definitely out as well. What's Stroll and Tsunoda doing? Stroll's in the pits. That's it then. And they've cut to advert. They've cut to an ad break before the session even finished. Sky just give up on it. There still drives across the line. They're like, yeah. Tsunoda, Stroll, Colapinto, Bottas, show. Adverts, please. Colapinto podium. Listen, I back it, Carl. Listen, I'm all about the outlandish predictions. That is very extreme, shall we say. But I'd love to see it. I best believe I'd love to see it. But yeah, I don't see a scenario where Colapinto gets any points out of this weekend, but I don't think he's really expected to. But yeah, he's going to be 18th on the grid. But look at that again from Sauber. 19th and 20th. Back row of the grid. It's been a dreadful season for them. Absolutely dreadful. They've not scored a point. I think last season, every team scored at least a handful of points. I might be wrong, but from what I remember, I think every team got the odd point. I don't think, it's not that bold to say that. I don't think Sauber are getting any points this season. They're nowhere near it. You know, I don't even think they've had like a P11 or 12, have they? But yeah, no point. It's just been horrendous. I mean, they're obviously on the brink of this Audi thing. I think I remember right in saying that the Kick deal ends at the end of this season, so they go back to being Sauber for 1 year and then Audi after that, or a Kick staying on board for next year. I'm not sure. Not sure if that deal's coming to an end, so it's just plain old Sauber for a year. You're going to bed until send us GMA's channel. Is this the those channels where they follow the hurricanes and twisters and all that in the US? They are entertaining, those. I mean, it's not great if you're in the path of it and you've got a big farmhouse in the countryside and a tornado rips through it and you've lost everything you've ever earned in your life. But for us watching 6,000 miles away, it's quite entertaining, which sounds horrible to say, but you mean if you're Dorothy? yeah, Dorothy got caught up in one of them big time. Yeah, Dorothy got caught up in that hurricane so bad that it went from black and white TV to full colour TV. And so he got knocked out. So Ricardo scraped through. Look at that. It's only if you're a second off the pace, you're out. That's pretty competitive. That's very competitive. If you're a second off the pace, you're in the bottom five. That's you go back 10 years, you'd have had to be 4, 5 seconds off the pace to get knocked out. Now you're second off the pace, you're gone. You're at the back, which is the grid has concertinaed up so much in the last few years with static regulations as well. So Kevin Magnussen, I don't know if there was any issue with this car. I didn't say there was on team radio, but Magnussen he did get through, but they're having to brush all the gravel off the track that he caused with his little off. So qualifying's been slightly delayed while they just clear the circuit of a lot of the gravel as well with the Colapinto. The Colapinto off going wide at the exit of the second Lesmo as well. That brought a load of gravel onto the track as well. So yeah, it's sweeping sessions in Monza for a few minutes before we get Q2 underway. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, bro. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, mate. No. What do you think about Logan Sargent being dropped, Suede? The only American on the grid, the only US driver on the grid, and he lasted 18 months. Yeah. Not really had a good representation since Mario Andretti, have they, the US? Alex Rossi had a year or two in Formula One, and he's had a great career in IndyCar, so he wasn't a bad driver, Alex Rossi. But really, the US, since Mario Andretti, not really been producing Formula One talent. Louis Tomlinson in what looks like the Ferrari garage. Fame will get you anywhere. Yes, who's getting pole? 1,001 other leagues he could be. Well, that's it. I mean, not quite as many as 1,001, but at least another handful. At least another handful, and he'll turn up. He'll turn up somewhere. He'll turn up in IndyCar, or IndyCar would probably be my bet. Perhaps World Endurance Championship, perhaps Formula E. I mean, do they still do Formula E? I've not even heard of Formula E for like a year. Not that I'm interested anyway, but it seems to have gone quiet on the Formula E front, but must have Formula E's got less views than me, mate. That's saying something. He'll find a job, exactly. Can't be too. Yeah, exactly. IMSA, Transam. Yeah, any IMSA series. Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. They still do Formula E. Do you know the last thing I heard about Formula E is some of the big manufacturers are pulling out. I think Jaguar, Mercedes, and someone else, Nissan, Renault. I think they decided like we've had a do, but it's got about 3 viewers, so probably not, mate. But it's never been. Listen, I've seen bits and bobs of Formula E over the years, and it's never something I've watched more than 2 or 3 minutes of. It's just. You might as well get your Skate Electric set out of the loft, and do a watch along on that, mate. No, not for me. Not for me. But yeah, Lee Khan, going back to what you were saying about who's going to get pole. Charles Herve Percival Leclerc. Yeah, I think Leclerc will pull something out, you know. I think Ferrari will pull something out of the bag. I think that's what I'd like to see as well out of the realistic. I want to see Norris ahead of Verstappen for the sake of a slight chance of a championship fight. I'd like to see Norris ahead of Verstappen, but I would like to see the Ferrari pole position in Monza, and I think that's what I'll predict. But I can see Max doing it. You know, the heart says Leclerc on pole. The head says Verstappen pulls something out of the bag and goes. Do you know what I mean? One of them. Because everyone's talking about, Lando Norris. Is Lando Norris in the championship fight? We've got a 2-man fight for the championship. It's a little bit early for that. And I know I've been saying probably for the last few races, championship's on. But realistically, it's not yet. It's not yet. And I feel like the perfect way to silence all the hype of Verstappen pole and win this weekend would just, it would nail in the coffin. It would be like, yeah. Especially after he's just been slapped by 22 seconds at home. He goes to Italy. Yeah, I just feel like Verstappen will try and silence the haters this weekend a little bit. But I want to see Ferrari victory, being honest, and Norris ahead of Verstappen. Not asking for much, you know. Nice one. Yeah, who do you think, Lee? What are your bets on? Don't say Zhou Guan Yu, Bottas, Colapinto, Stroll, or Tsunoda. They're already out. Supermax all the time. I mean, we're overdue a Supermax, aren't we? He's not won for five races. So it's been a while since Supermax. You know, it's been quiet. It's been quiet on the old front, hasn't it? The last few months. I'm glad of it. I really am. I mean, he's built up an 80-point buffer in the championship, so he can afford to. He can afford to just pick off a P2, P3, P2, P3. He can afford to do that because he won 5 out of the first 6 or something like that. So he's still all right. He's still safe yet. So Q2 is under Hamilton. Yeah, might be an outside bet, that one. But you never know. You never know. Electric cars, because they're quiet. They're quiet and they don't seem very fast as well. Formula E, I always think when I see Formula E, and it's not true this, but I always think, well, you know, a decent road car give that a run for its money. I always think like someone had one of them like souped up VW Golfs. Give a Formula E car a good run for its money. I always think it looks like pedestrian slow, but that's not the case. It's just that I'm used to the extreme speed of F1 that Formula E, it's like, really? You know what I mean? I'd put my foot down in my Mazda to give him a run for his money, but of course that's not the case, but it's just not that fast, is it? It's not that fast. And it's silent, and it's weird. And the cars look weird as well. And they've never, in my opinion, they've never got the design of those cars right. They're not going fast enough where aerodynamics plays a role. So you can basically design the car how you want, because it's just, you might as well race against a Renault Clio. They're not fast enough to have any aerodynamic benefit. So you can design how you want. And they always look like, it looks like a spider or something. I always think, what the hell are they going for here? Some spaceship Star Trek bollocks. And I think, nah. So, yeah. That's a roundabout way of saying it ain't for me. But anyway, Leclerc is on a good lap and should go fastest. And goes fastest indeed. Makes it Ferrari 1-2. 11.5 minutes in Q2 to go. Then we've got Ferrari 1-2. It's Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Perez. Well, only the top two have set a representative time. We're early on in the session. You hope. Well, yeah, there's always hope. The boost of power. Oh, I don't like that either. Fan boost. They still do fan boost. It's the cheesiest thing I've ever heard of. That it's like something out of a Mario Kart game. That fan boost. You've been voted for a speed boost for 23 seconds. Nah, man. It's like it's somewhat. It's as if an 8-year-old kid who plays Mario Kart's come up with that. No, it's not for me. It's not for me, mate. Horses of courses. Some people out there probably love it. But no, not my game. Verstappen does go quickest then. 1:19.8, 0.3 quicker than the Ferraris. As I'm saying, this Verstappen's looking good. But Piastri beats it. Not that it matters too much at the moment, but it's a good sign of the McLaren pace in Monza, and Norris goes quickest. This is going to be close. I don't know about Ferrari now. I don't know. I think it might be between the two McLarens and Verstappen. No, yeah. Yeah, Ferrari half a second off. They'll struggle to find half a second in Q3, won't they? I'm not saying it's impossible, but yeah, Ferrari will struggle to find 0.6 in Q3. You never know, but you know, maybe Ferrari weren't on brand new set of tyres as well. I don't know. So don't look into it too deep yet. As long as everyone's in the top 10 with regards to the Ferraris, McLarens and Red Bull, as long as they're all safely through, then we'll have a look. This is just all about not being knocked out. Well, you're there with you. Bring back the gas suckers with it. Well, do you know, I wouldn't rule out in the future. How far in the future, I don't know. We're going way out there. I wouldn't rule out a V8 back in F1. Whoa. Environment! With the new fuel. With the biofuel. I wouldn't rule out I can't think of the name of that fuel now. What it's called? It's sustainable fuels or whatever they call it. Got a fancy name for it. I wouldn't rule out that, one day. Maybe the next set of regulations in like 2032 or something like that. You know what I mean? Where you've got a combustion engine, but with sustainable fuels with no emissions, no carbon into the atmosphere. I can see that one day. Hamilton goes quickest in the Mercedes. Interesting. By nearly a tenth. One volcano eruption could do more than... well, yeah. Do you know, once I heard... It might be BS this, but once I heard something like... the 30 or something biggest cruise ships in the world... This might be bollocks. It's just something I read on the internet. Is that a reliable sentence to kick off with? No, it's not. But I once heard that the biggest 30 cruise ships in the world produce as much carbon emissions as all the cars in the world. So why is Greta Thunberg not on the cruise ship banning plot? That's what I want to know. Either that stat's bollocks... or Greta Thunberg's missing a beat, mate. Because she should be all over them cruise ships. That's what I'm saying. I said to my mum, I said, if you want to do a cruise, you better do it in the next few years. Because, tell you now, they're going to be clamped down on. Well, probably not, because they're multi-billion-dollar companies, aren't they? But anyway, I just thought I'd have me rant about that. Sainz, anyway, let's get back to this. Sainz has gone third. Leclerc across the line. He's got that weird gyro cam as well. It's not for me, mate. It might be for you. It's not for me. This thing, it doesn't even work round Monza. They haven't even got any bank corners round Monza anymore. They used to have in the flipping 1950s, but there's not even any point in it. I know what they're trying to do with that gyro camera, yeah. They're trying to make it look more extreme for the casual viewer. And that is exactly what it is, mate. Bang, nail on the head, if I don't say so myself. That gyroscopic camera thing, where it tilts in the corners, that is for a TikTok reel and an Instagram reel and a thing for anybody that's not watched Formula One and you're 12 years old and it's tilted through the corners. It's a spaceship. It's amazing. It's just all your social media to try and make it look more extreme than it already is. It's a load of rubbish, mate. It's a gimmick. Oh, look at how this, and it makes it look like the cars at a flipping 40-degree angle through the corners like that. Look at this spaceship. If you're 12, you're probably going, wow. If you're 32, you're probably going, no. A family has money. Turning's still there, just overgrown. What, the gyro camera thing? I think it's ridiculous. You've not eaten yet. Do you think it's a good time for a shot? It's always a good time for a shot, Kim. Get on the fireball. Right, anyway, I've not been talking much about the on-track action, have I? This is why I'm stuck on 600 subs for a year and a half. I've cracked it. I don't actually talk about what's happening. I've cracked it. So Hamilton's quickest out of 1:19.6. Norris 1:19.7. Sainz 1:19.7. Then Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc. Who's at the bottom then? So we've got just under 4 minutes to go in Q2. 11th through 15th will get knocked out. So 16th to 20th already done and dusted. In 3.5 minutes, 11th through 15th will be all knocked out. And at the moment it is Alonso, Magnussen, Gasly, Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo all heading out at the moment, but it's all to play for. And whether you plan doing anything, well, yeah, that's the sensible answer, Kim. It depends on whether you plan on doing anything for the rest of the day, because I certainly don't. So I'll join you on that shot in a bit. Just let me finish this stream first. Let's see who's on pole first, and then, yeah. Not much else on my to-do list today, I tell you. Making sausage, bacon and eggs. Sounds like a full English breakfast, that, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Go for it. You've got the lawn to cut and a few things to hang up. Wow, you'd be able to do that. You'd be able to do that. I mean, the lines in the garden, it won't be anything like a Premier League ground. It might be a bit... might be wavy lines down the garden and back, but you'll be able to do it. Right, Haas. The Haas boys are out there. Hulkenberg goes purple, sector 1. Who had that on the bingo card? Nobody. Go on, Nico Hulkenberg. I tell you what, Nico Hulkenberg has to be the most underrated driver. I underrate him. He has to be the most underrated driver on the grid. I underrate him myself. I didn't like it when Haas signed Hulkenberg. I was like, what are you doing? He's finished. He's 38. He's over it. You're dropping my boy Mick Schumacher, mate. I have been... When sometimes you're wrong in this game, and that is one of the worst shouts I've ever had about being disappointed that Haas signed Nico Hulkenberg. Because he has proved me wrong and probably a hell of a lot of people wrong. He's up there, and he's gone P9. What a season he's had as well, Hulkenberg. He's got the maximum out of that car. And he's going to Sauber next season as well, which they're rock bottom at the moment, so he'll be hoping that they improve a bit, or a lot. Chevy was king for America in F1. Haas in F1 is just dumb now. Nah, they're all right, Haas. Alpine in F1 is just dumb. I don't see Alpine... Let's just sort out the rest of this session. So Albon's through at the minute in P10. So in the bottom 5 and in danger at the moment. Danger's a very loose term, but we've got Ricciardo, Alonso, Magnussen, Gasly and Ocon down at the bottom. They need to improve if they want to get through to Q3 on the pole position shootout. Go on, Alex. Go on, Alex. Go on, Alex. Get through. Go on, go on, go on. Go on, Alex. P9. That's on the... Ooh, that's touch and go. That's touch and go. Touch and go for Alex Albon. P9 may or may not be good enough. That'll help him because Alonso's not gone quicker than... Not gone as quick as he needs to. Alonso P11. How long have we got left? Nothing. So that's it. Oh, Perez. Ooh, it's touch and go for Perez as well. The two Alpines are out in 14th and 15th. Magnussen's out in 13th. Where's Daniel Ricciardo? Oh, and has Alonso gone for another flying lap or not? That's what we need to know. Russell's on a lap, but it's not spectacular. So where's this ended up? I tell you what, it's a hell of a lap from Hamilton and Verstappen, separated by 20 hundredths of a second. Okay, there might be more in this pole position fight than I first give it credit for. He hung the lawnmower up and whipped the grass blades. Exactly. Brilliant. You got visions of you chopping up the lawn with the hammers. Yeah. So have I. Oh, Alonso's out then. Alonso and Ricciardo are both out. P11 is better than I expected, says Fernando Alonso. Yeah. Yeah, it's not been a good season for Aston Martin. So knocked out in Q2 then, just to confirm. Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, Kevin Magnussen, Pierre Gasly, and Esteban Ocon. So the top 10. So Hulkenberg's through, mate. As I was saying, underrated. Hulkenberg's through. Albon's through. Perez, thank goodness for his sake. Perez is through Leclerc through, Russell through, Piastri, Sainz, Norris, Verstappen, Hamilton, all safely through to Q3. But I was just about to say, like, you were saying, Suede, like, Haas in F1 is dumb now. I think Alpine in F1 is getting to a position where it's a little bit dumb. Because there's talk of them not even using the... Basically, Alpine, if you don't know, it's Renault. It's Renault with a tracksuit on. For all intents and purposes, it's Renault, right? They're called Alpine because that's a little sports car brand that they want to promote and whatever. Money, fill in the blank. So it's Renault. Now there's talk about them not using the Renault engine from 2026 onwards. So you're a Renault factory team and you don't back yourself or you don't back your engine. So you're going to use, what are you going to do? Put a Mercedes engine. You're Renault and you're going to have a Mercedes engine in the back. I have never heard, this is anti-advertising. And that's a phrase I got off Karen Chandok when he was watching practice before. He's like, this is anti-advertising. This is saying we're not good enough. And so the Alpine project in general has gone backwards for the last couple of years. I can see a point where it basically becomes sold and a group of celebrities, ex-drivers, movie stars and all that own that team. God knows what it'd be called. But I can see a scenario where Renault in general just say, we had a go and it's not working. I might be wrong, you know what I mean? They might turn it round and they might fully back it and say, no, we'll stick with the Renault. But to be talking about ditching your Renault engine factory and potentially getting a Mercedes engine in the back, what are you doing then? What's the idea here? That's what I'd be saying. If I was in the CEO meetings in the Renault boardroom, I'd be saying, well, what's the idea here then? What's the long-term goal here? Let's sell it to a bunch of NFL players and call it a day, and take your 100 million bazillion pound and roll into the sunset. It's not worked. But Haas, Haas is a tricky one. I think they've hit the lowest that they're gonna hit. I think they're sort of stabilised, and they're not as bad as they were in like 2021, 22. They were 19th and 20th every week for a couple of seasons, but this season been pleasantly surprised by Haas. They picked up like 20 or 30 points. It's not bad going at all. It's all money. Le Mans Prototype League is where it's at right now. Yeah, but how many? It is. I fully agree with you in terms of like manufacturers and competition and interest in terms of the manufacturers coming into it. It is where it's at. But you go around with a microphone in the street and ask people at random, like, do you know what the World Endurance Championship is? 99 out of 100 people won't even know what you're on about. And it's just 1% of the viewer. There's just no interest in terms of the general public. It's not. It's for some reason it's just not got that level of interest. So from Jaguar and Red Bull. Yeah. It is more competitive. I don't disagree with you. IMS, the top category of Le Mans nowadays, 3 or 4 years ago, terrible. Toyota versus Audi, was it? Or Toyota versus was there a year where it was virtually Toyota on their own? Near enough. Toyota versus a couple of like independent manufacturers, like Toyota versus like Bicolis. It was terrible, and now they've tweaked it and called it a hyperclass, hypercar class. Unbelievable. The queuing up the manufacturers, but your general man in the street has never even heard of it. Never even heard of it. Not aware of it. Even motorsport fans, even F1, even probably a lot of F1 fans have never even heard of it. So it's still in that obscure realm. But yes, Barry, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream, bro. How are we doing? You can use any engine you want. You just have to use F1 battery. Yeah, there's a lot more freedom in it as well. You're having two. One wouldn't fit in the fridge. Go on, Kim. Get stuck in. IMS a number which is the same as WC, gets more numbers. The thing is, IMS is even more obscure because that's just US. IMSA for anyone in Europe, you've got to be seriously into your motorsport to follow IMSA. Like, you've got to be, that is in an obscure category, that. World Endurance Championships. But IMSA, yeah, no. It's for a US motorsport market, yeah, but for European, you could probably count the European viewers on one hand. Which is a shame. Because I agree with you. It's whenever I see it, I'm always impressed by it. But it doesn't get the same television. It's difficult to even find a regular broadcaster for it as well. That's a big problem. Right. Anyway, that's been the little bridge between Q3 and Q2 and Q3. Now we're getting to the pole position shootout. Now we get back in the zone. I've done enough waffling for one stream or 1 year actually. But yeah, oops, 10% each. Come on, you be steaming as a rocket. Right, who's getting pole? Who's getting pole position in Monza? I said Leclerc, didn't I? Now I'm regretting that now. I tell you what, was it Lee Kime said Hamilton? I was like, outside bet. No, I don't know. Fastest in Q2. All right, let's have a look. Hamilton pole. I feel like a Hamilton pole would be a bit out of nowhere, wouldn't it? Bolt in the blue, that. But I'm all for it. Yeah, let's have it. I seriously think we've got at least 5 or 6 drivers fighting for pole here, which is not a given. Ever. Well, in recent memory anyway. I think bar Perez, I don't know if the Ferraris are realistically in the fight, are they? But let's take the Ferraris and Perez out of it. Who you left with? 2 Mercs, 2 McLarens, and a Verstappen as well. I think you've got at least 5 drivers fancy in pole position here, if not more. If you chuck the Ferraris in there, 7 drivers for pole position. This is what we want to see. Come on then. Piastri goes purple, sector 1, but he is the first man on a flying lap, so if he didn't go purple, I would worry. You're going to go faster than everyone else that hasn't set a lap yet, aren't you? So not much to read into there. So far, a Ferrari going to pounce, says David Croft. Ooh, a bit wide there in the entry into Ascari there, wasn't he, Norris? He's kicking up dirt, mate. Whew. Dipping a wheel in the grass. The entry into Ascari's on the limit. Piastri's purple middle sector. Go on then. across the line then. So he's the first man across the line. What's his lap time? 1:19.4. A 1:19.4 for Oscar Piastri. Here comes Lando Norris then. Can he beat that? In does. It's close. 3/100ths of a second. Norris has gone quicker than Piastri. And here come the Ferrari boys then. It's Carlos Sainz. Can't beat the McLarens so far. Goes P3. Verstappen only fifth at the moment. Ooh, Leclerc goes P4. Oh, if we can get a few cars in between Norris and Verstappen on the grid, game on. What can the Mercs do? If the Mercs can get in the mix and go quicker than Max, then, no. Very interesting. Go on then. Russell does go third. Oh, I told you, there's 7 cars in the mix. And Hamilton goes P4. Verstappen's 8th and 6/10 off the pace at the moment. There still is one more lap to go. There is still one more lap to go. But... oh, yes. Now we're kicking. Well, either Verstappen has made a mistake that lap, or everybody else has turned the wick up a little bit and laid it all on the line, and Verstappen 6.5 off the pace in the opening blows of Q3. He has, of course, got one more chance to do something about that. But at the moment, then, the grid is Norris, Piastri, Russell, Hamilton, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, even ahead of Verstappen. He had no grip, says Max Verstappen, so he's blaming the tyres. He's got to blame something because he's P8 at the moment, Hulkenberg 9th and Albon 10th on the grid. But of course, they are all going to pit and they are all going to get another set of tyres on it and go for one more run. Oh, 100% Kim. Yeah, send her the link. Send her the link. Get yourself on. Ooh, Metron. Pair ones. Yeah. And that was his mistake. So Verstappen had a snap of oversteer in the final corner in Parabolica. And I don't think that cost him 6.5, but it certainly didn't help. And yeah, we don't often see Sergio Perez ahead of Max Verstappen on a grid, do we? Could this be a day where we get that scenario? Probably not, because like I say, they've still got one more run to go, but ooh, interesting this. You know, and Verstappen was all about playing it cocky before, not wanting to set a quick lap in Q1 to not show his hand. Well, you're showing your hand now and you're 7/10 off, so when all's said and done, Verstappen's not going to be P8, 6.5 off. Is he? Is he? I tell you what, you know, I was saying in Zandvoort that, all right, Norris can win, but if Verstappen's P2 every week, that'll be enough. And I was saying, but if they get more cars in between Norris and Verstappen, then it really starts to get panic stations. Because at the moment, we've got 6 cars. 7 cars. 7 drivers in between Norris and Verstappen. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Oh, no for Max. But oh, yes for everybody else. It won't end up like this. I've been duped here. I'm being lulled into a false sense of security here, and Verstappen's gonna go second row of the grid. But yes, cheers, Salty Dog, mate. Just cracked open your first cold beer at 10 a.m. of the day, celebrating 3-day weekend. Get stuck in, mate. Get stuck in. I'm off tomorrow as well, so I'll have a couple of drinks tonight. A couple more than that. But yeah. Yeah, Verstappen's luring me in here, and then he's just going to go third on the grid or something, isn't he? I've seen this script before. I've been lured in before, and then he's just got bang pole. Oh, that was all for nothing, wasn't it? I can't see. But the thing is, 6.5 tenths. All right, if he was 2 tenths off, but 6.5 tenths. I'd be surprised if he can make up that much. That's me crying. Well, this is it. This is it. When things don't go his way, he does get petulant. You know, he doesn't deal with it very well. But then again, you could say that of a lot of champions. You know, if you can take losing easily, then are you really a winner? But he does get petulant, though. He does get. I don't really like that side of him, but it's also exciting. It's drama. And that's how I roll. The more drama and controversy, the better for me with Formula One. Yeah. The more chaotic, the more dramatic, the more controversial, the better. So, you know, Abu Dhabi 21, the whole world was outraged. For me, incredible. They'll never be beaten for me, because that's all I want. Entertainment and controversy for me in a sporting context is entertaining. It just is for me. So yeah, I go against the grain in that respect. Abu Dhabi 21 for me, the entire F1 fandom was absolutely uproar, outraged. The sport's a joke. Everything needs to be cancelled. The whole thing needs to be put in the bin. I was like, this is the best it's ever going to be. And it was the best it's ever going to be. Spirit animal. First time I've been called a spirit animal, but I back it. The more drama, the more to talk about. Well, exactly, you know? Exactly. Right, anyway, here we go then. So, right, this is it then for pole position. Mate, how long have we got left? Verstappen's 7th at best. Verstappen's 7th at best on the grid here. He's done it. That's it. It's over for Verstappen. He's 7th at best. Have I completely lost the plot here? Or has Verstappen done his lap and that's it? Here it's all about McLaren. And Norris goes pole at the moment at 1:19.3. He's by a tenth of a second. Here comes Piastri across the line then and goes second. So it's a McLaren front row at the moment then. Norris from Piastri. Can Ferrari do anything about that? Sainz third. What can Leclerc do? Can Leclerc get pole? Third. So it's a McLaren front row at the moment with a Ferrari second row. What can the Mercedes boys do about it? Verstappen being 7th is madness. Verstappen being 7th is madness. This is fantastic for the season and for the Italian Grand Prix tomorrow. What can the Mercedes boys do? Can they improve? Can they Bill and Russell goes third? Okay, so it's both McLarens, then George Russell, then both Ferraris, and then Lewis Hamilton P6. So Hamilton and Verstappen 6th and 7th on the grid. And Perez 8th, Albon 9th, Hulkenberg 10th. So that is your grid for the 2024 Italian Grand Prix. Lando Norris takes pole position for McLaren. Big time, Charlie. Lando Norris on pole. This championship is starting to become a little bit interesting now, with Verstappen down in 7th. Well. Norris, Piastri. McLaren is the car now. I mean, it's duh. But, you know, to state the obvious, McLaren is the car. And every time I sort of doubt it and think, oh, you know, Ferrari will be in this, Verstappen will do it still. McLaren prove it yet again. McLaren are the team and have been the team for the past 3 or 4 months. But they're proving it every weekend now, regardless of circuit, regardless of conditions, regardless of any variables. McLaren is now the team. And yet again, that has been proved. It is a McLaren 1-2 on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. Norris from Piastri, Russell, then Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Verstappen, only 7th. Ooh. He's going to be 3rd by the end of lap 1, but I'll enjoy this moment anyway. Then Perez, Albon, Hulkenberg. Then we had Alonso, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, Colapinto, Bottas and Zhou. And that rounds off qualifying for today. Thank you all for being in the stream. Be sure to join me tomorrow for the Grand Prix itself. Get a message in live chat as well, and you'll be entered into the next round of the Viewers' Championship, which is looking likely to be late on Monday night. So who's on Monday night 11 p.m. settings? Because that's likely when it's going to be. Yeah, late on Monday night for the Viewers' Championship. But to be entered into that race, you have to get yourself in live chat tomorrow. I'll be live from about 1:30ish. You know, give me 10 minutes leeway on that. But 1:30ish tomorrow afternoon for the Italian Grand Prix. Please do drop me a like as well on your way out. And I'm well up for this race. I'm well up for the back end of this season. And as you know, I'm well up for 2025 as well. Andrea Kimi Antonelli being confirmed at Mercedes. But that's all from me for today. But yeah, 1:30 p.m. UK time for the Italian Grand Prix tomorrow that starts at 2 p.m. You'll have until about 3:30 to get a message in chat to be entered into the next race of the Viewers' Championship. And yeah, that's about it. Lando Norris on pole, and I will catch you tomorrow for the 2024 Italian Grand Prix. Peace out. Cheers. See you later.